Every revolution tells a story. But what if I told you the real story of the American Revolution was never fully written? It wasn't only led by the famous generals or founding fathers whose statues line our cities. It was carried on the shoulders of ordinary men and women whose names history forgot, but whose sacrifices built the very foundation of freedom. This isn't just a history lesson. This is the forgotten heartbeat of America's birth. The year is 1775. The 13 colonies are a tinderbox burning with the spirit of rebellion. Across the land, a quiet transformation is taking place. Farmers put down their plows and pick up muskets. Blacksmiths, their hands accustomed to shaping iron, now prepare for battle. Mothers, daughters, and wives become the secret messengers of freedom, their courage as vital as any soldier's. They didn't fight for glory or for a place in the history books. They fought for something far more profound. An idea that all people are created equal, and that liberty should not be a privilege for the few, but an undeniable right for all. In the shadows of this grand historical narrative walked figures whose contributions were monumental, yet remain largely unknown. Consider James Armistead Lafayette, an enslaved man who, with unimaginable courage, volunteered to become a spy for General Washington's Continental Army. Posing as a runaway, he infiltrated the British High Command, feeding them false information while gathering crucial intelligence that would lead directly to the decisive American victory at Yorktown. He risked his life for a nation's freedom, even as his own was still denied. And then there was Deborah Sampson, a young woman from Massachusetts who refused to be a bystander. She cut her hair, bound her chest, and disguised herself as a man named Robert Shirtliff to enlist in the army. For over a year, she fought on the front lines, enduring the brutal realities of war. She was wounded twice. Once digging a musket ball out of her own thigh with a penknife to avoid discovery by a doctor. Her bravery broke barriers and challenged the conventions of her time long before society was ready to acknowledge it. These are not just side stories. They are revolutions within the revolution, revealing the true, diverse fabric of the fight for independence. Think of the brutal winter at Valley Forge, where thousands of soldiers, ill-equipped and starving, faced a battle not against the British, but against the elements themselves. They froze without proper food or even shoes, their feet leaving bloody tracks in the snow, or the fields of Saratoga, where the ground was soaked with the blood of those who fought and fell. The vast majority of these individuals never made it home. There were no medals waiting for them, no victory parades in their honor, and for many, not even a mention in the school books our children read today. But in those darkest moments, when it seemed the world had looked away and the cause was lost, they stood firm. They held the line. Why? Because they believed with every fiber of their being that freedom was worth dying for. They may be forgotten by name, but their unrelenting courage is written into every heartbeat of this nation. Their sacrifice is the silent ink on the pages of our liberty. Every time we see the flag wave against a sunset, every time a voice speaks freely in a public square, every time a child dreams of a future without limits, we owe a silent debt to these forgotten souls. Their legacy is not carved in stone monuments, but is alive in the very freedoms we often take for granted. They weren't seen as heroes in their time. They were simply people farmers, artisans, enslaved individuals, women who refused to kneel to tyranny. And because of their defiance, because of their sacrifice, the fragile, radical idea of America survived. If their story, their courage, has moved you, then let's not allow them to fade back into the shadows of history. The greatest honor we can give them is to remember, share their story, talk about them, because history only truly lives when we have the courage to tell it again and again. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you believe these stories matter, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so more forgotten voices can be heard.